Hello everyone. So today I'm doing my mix of the Mojo song I've recorded. A friend of mine who was singing and playing guitar and some other parts. This is my second revision of the same mix due to the fact that PMC. I'm doing this on PMCs which are a bit more strange, if you will. They're not these are the monitors that, at least to me, they were not like out of the box and you can feel comfortably. They sort of a bit custom. I've done the very first one and I've sent it to a couple of friends, and they all got back with the same feedback, that it was a bit heavy in the low end and it was a bit dull in the upper mids. Which this is the areas which PMCs are highlighting, the upper mids. So yeah, it's just a matter of getting used to them. I kind of like felt this would be the case with PMCs because they pretty much feel that way, that they need time to get used to.
I've got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you. Got my mojo working. 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 Got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you.
So that's the mix done, and now I'm gonna remove PMCs. I'm gonna delete all the plugins from this session, and then I'm gonna put my vocals in place, and I'm gonna start from scratch doing the same mix. And I probably, to be fair, I would allow 2 revisions as well, just to be sort of fair on and everything. Yeah, we'll see how that's going to go. I've literally just switched my monitors, so I now have Focals sitting around there. Focals are a lot heavier than PMCs. For the size they are, they're actually very heavy. I think they're like 25 kilos a speaker. What I do like on PMCs, they've got the audio connector, which is with a lock, so it locks in and you have to press the button to release the cable, which Focals don't have. But I don't think this is going to be a game changer, if you will. It's just a comment. Also, whilst I've got the opportunity, I would like to thank my friend John. He's singing the song I'm currently mixing, but he's the owner of the PMC monitors that I use. He's also the owner of the Big 6 solid state logic mixer. Thank you very much for providing me with the gear to help me making these videos. I've literally just listened to the mix I've done on PMCs on my Focals, and I have to say that quite a few things popped out. First of all, there was quite a lot of a low end in the mix, and things sort of sounded alright mainly, but there was also a lot of snare. Also, I want to mention one other thing. PMC Result6 were the monitors I was trying to get to my studio originally, and the story goes like,
I've seen these PMCs on Reverb. And the next one was Focal Solo6 Be. So I've seen this pair of these Focals on Reverb as well. So I got in touch with the seller, and they were very good price, I grabbed them.
PMC Result6 were the monitors I was after as my primary. Once I had the PMCs sitting in here, I really wanted to swap them as soon as possible for the Focals, because I think I prefer Focals much more. That despite the PMCs being revealing and really sharp in the low end, where in the kick area and stuff, I think I'm so much in love with with the Focals. They're really smooth, they're really nice. Just to, forget about monitoring. Even if you just watching videos and listening to music, I think they're a lot more pleasing to an ear. Focals, you're riding in a comfortable car that's taking you very soft and in comfort all the bumpy road, and you don't really nearly feel that, but it's still a comfortable car and you can you're enjoying it. Whereas PMC is a bit more like a sports car or racing car on a racetrack. It's really tight. It's really it was really interesting because I originally was after the PMCs, and then I ended up preferring Focal. Focals were absolutely fine. From you just install them and you go with them, and they're really easy to follow, easy to understand. Whereas PMCs, as I've said, there was a feeling that I needed to spend some time to learn them. It's very important to mention. Now, PMCs do not have any adjustments for the frequency range at all. Focals, on the other hand, they do have the high-end shelf plus or minus 6 dB, as well as the low-end plus or minus 6 dBs. I've took my Yamaha's HS8 out, and I had my and I've put the Focals in. The very first thing that was really obvious is the missing low end. Despite Yamaha's HS8's being muddy and not very clear in the low end at all, I'd say, they would still go down to 32 Hertz as opposed to Focals going down to 40 Hertz. I need to do something, it just doesn't sound right, and I had the HS8s for about 6 years, so yeah, it was like something's missing. Set them up at about 3 dB plus in the low end, and they just felt right. They just felt like, okay, yeah, maybe I don't need a sub, maybe they just do fine. And that was a bit of a surprise because they're actually quite a small speaker compared to Yamaha HS8s. These are 6.5 inch, whereas Yamaha's is 8 inch. Plus the detail you get from this in low end is on another. Obviously, these are professional line, and you can hear what you do. You can hear that low end. You can hear all the nuances and details, and it's easy to adjust. It's easy, you can hear what you're doing. So far, Focals are my preference. Now, there's another thing worth mentioning. The Result6, they only go down to 45 Hertz, and these go down to 40. I would never think that I could hear the difference in 5 Hertz or whatever, but that's a big difference. So it almost feels like PMC have a filter that literally cuts off anything below 45 Hertz. Because it's very focused kick at about 50-60 Hertz, and it just literally feels like nothing below there. Whereas Focals, even with a roll off, but you can hear much lower frequencies pumping out. Especially with the boost that I've added at 3 dB, and you can hear way more. It almost fills the room with that low rumble. And also, Focal actually provides a subwoofer that's made for these speakers. Turn this into a 3-way system, whereas PMCs, you take it or leave it. It's all a bit interesting. I wasn't planning to record a video right now. It's nearly 2 AM. I've just finished a mix on the Focals, and I just wanted to share whilst it's all fresh. Wow. This was my pretty much first mix on the Focals, and I have to say this has been just a pure joy. Did I get it right? Probably not. Nothing major, not as dramatic as it was with the PMC. Then I've compared with a mix that I've done on the PMCs. Woo! I've never worked with such a precision where move a fader, on a mixer by a couple of mil, and I could hear the difference. And I was impressed, like all the reverb returns. I literally was adjusting like by a couple of mil, and I could hear the difference in these monitors, and everything is so apparent. And one of the first obvious things that I could hear compression, and when I compared with my PMC's mix, that was like heavily compressed, and it was like full on. With my Focal mix, it's all airy, it's all spacious, at least this is what I can hear in speakers, and as well as in monitors and everything. So It's a way more space. You can, because I could just hear the compression. I could hear EQ. I could hear every single move I do. It's just unbelievable. The amount of detail I could hear is, I've never heard anything like this. I'm blown away with the quality of the vocals. Yeah. So now we're going to be listening to the mix that I've made on it. Vocals. The mix came out much better compared to the PMC one, even from the first attempt. But as I've said, I want to just be fair, and so I've listened to this on other media. I've literally just made a few more adjustments, and so yeah, here we go.
I've got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you. Got my mojo working. 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 Got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you.
So here's the session in Logic I've set up. What we've got here, so this is my first mix on PMC, so essentially this is my very first mix of this song using SSL gear as well. So we've got to take that into account, just to be fair. This is my second attempt after all the adjustments I've done, and that's my first mix on vocals, and that's my second mix on vocals after again doing some adjustments. Just to remind you again, I wasn't familiar with any of these monitors. These all new. Haven't done anything on these, neither of the PMCs or vocals, and so I had to learn them a bit and adjust my mixes. But yeah, so let's just listen to the results that we've got now. I also located them. So this is the first mix on PMCs corresponding to this track. This is the second version of the PMC. This is the first attempt on Focal, and that one is the second attempt on the Focal. Right, okay, so let's listen to that mix now.
I've got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you. I've got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you. I need your love so bad, I don't know what to do. I'm going down Louisiana, get me a mojo hand. I'm going down Louisiana, get me a mojo hand. Gonna have all you women under my command. Got my mojo working. 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 I've got my mojo working. Got my mojo working. I've got my mojo working, but it just won't work on you.
So as you could hear, there's quite a big difference between the mixes. Yeah, I guess PMCs, they are workable, but because they're sort of a bit more specific. And again, this may be due to my room, to my setup, to me, I don't know. They require a bit more time to get familiar with them and to better understand what they actually do. yeah, my very first mix was surprisingly very heavy in the low end, very muddy, and even after the second attempt, you can hear the mixes from the Focal are much more open, much more eerie, much more brighter, and it's due to the fact that I could hear way more on the Focals. Again, I'm sharing my experience, so I really prefer the Focals, and mixing on PMCs, I have to say that I was kind of like looking forward to quickly swap them for Focals, because they were, I can't say they were irritating, but they were not pleasant to just use as on a daily basis, even, you know, when I'm just watching some videos and listening to some music. So that's my thoughts. Just to say that I'm going to be doing some video again about the SSL gear that I've used for this was very surprisingly satisfying working on this gear on SSL6 with the big 6. I think I might as well do the comparison. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.